this is Tynan Sylvester, and today we're looking at RimWorld Alpha 4. We got a bunch of new cool stuff in here, some tech stuff, some new content, and the first non-human enemies in the game. So let's just take a look first at some of the new economy stuff. Now, it is a science fiction game, but instead of going super up the tech tree into, high-tech mechanoid construction or installing new augmented organs in people, I actually wanted to go down a little bit and touch on the Western aspects of the theme of the game. So we're going into wood, essentially. You're going to have to credit me for not actually calling this video I Got Wood, because I seriously considered it, but ultimately decided that taste was a better choice. So as you can see, we got trees in the game now, and you can chop them down and make a little log cabin out of the logs that you build. And this is the lowest tech construction material you're going to have access to. It's plentiful and trees regrow, so you'll always be able to get more wood when you need it. You can, of course, saw your logs into planks, which are useful to make more advanced types of construction. So here we have a dude sawing at the hand sawmill, which is probably the first production building you're going to want. He made some planks, and now he's going to use them to build the new wooden door, which replaces the old simple door. What I'm hoping is that over time, you're going to see the depth of the technology tree in RimWorld expand, because previously people would find they'd pretty much built everything within 3 hours. So a real goal with ongoing development is to extend that. So you start at a lower tech level, you pass through sort of the middle area which was all we used to have. And then in future alphas, you're going to have more high-tech stuff. You're going to be stealing technology from ancient ruins and dead mechanoids and such, and building really advanced stuff out of it. But anyways, here we have the electric sawmill, which is, the high-tech version of the hand sawmill. Works a lot faster. Your guy can chop a lot of wood quicker, and there's a bunch of stuff you can build out of wood. I'm not showing it here, but you can actually build wood paneled walls instead of log walls as well, and you got wood floors here, which you're showing right now. So some other new stuff. We have a lot of little improvements in this build. Here we've got the hunter, who, as you can see, actually picks up and carries his stuff back to the stockpile after he kills it. So derp on me for not doing that before, but now you got it. You have growing zones can actually produce oak trees, so you can actually produce your own building material now, instead of having to rely on metal, which would eventually run out in older builds, and you'd pretty much just be stuck. Now you have a sustainable approach to continuing to build and rebuild and repair your base, because, as you guys know, it gets pretty trashed by the attacks which tend to come at you. Next up, a lot of this stuff is behind research. So we have a bunch of new research options, which open up some things that I'm going to talk about. It's just simple things that have been requested a lot. Here we have a situation that's pretty common, where players got a bunch of raider bodies. These corpses do tend to pile up after a while, and I've seen some ridiculous graveyards with them, but now you can actually build this crematorium and just cremate them away. So if you really don't want these bodies hanging around and you don't feel like being ceremonial with them and keeping them in graves or eating them or keeping them for food purposes, you can just cremate them away and keep things clean that way. So it's just another little improvement that I hope will fill out the economy a bit. We've also got slag refining. So previously you could take the rock debris and make stone blocks out of them, which was useful. But there was this slag debris which was around, which there was no way to get rid of it. So I'll just debug create some here. And you're going to see how you can use this very electricity-intensive slag refinery to slowly take this kind of debris and melt it down into usable metal. You don't get a lot of metal, and it takes a lot of power and a long time. This isn't an efficient path through the economy, but it's still useful to have something to do with these slag things besides sort of putting them in an endlessly expanding pit. So now, we're going to move on to something that I think is a little bit more exciting, which is mechanoid combat. These are the first non-human enemies we've put in the game. The idea with mechanoids is that they're these ancient murdering machines which are sort of sitting around on the planet. I don't know if you know about the RimWorld fiction. It's this very old planet, very old universe with a lot of ancient stuff left over, and some of these are self-replicating, dangerous robots. The mechanoids actually have an insectoid look to them. So the first ones are called the centipedes. and they're heavy sort of bruiser type attackers. They can come with a variety of weapons. Here I've got a colony being destroyed by inferno cannons, which basically launch these giant incendiary projectiles which just light up a whole area. So they're going to be pretty effective in countering some of the super concentrated defenses that were kind of ridiculously effective in previous builds. So these guys are basically your new big boss baddies, and they're a lot different to fight from the tribals and the pirates that you're used to from previous builds. So I'm really hoping to see some new tactics from players and new strategies. And of course we'll be expanding this a lot with future builds of the game. And finally I want to spotlight a cool mod that I saw. Of course there had to be a zombie mod, so here it is. And here's just a little demo of it. The zombies, what's going on here? It's not just a graveyard. They're popping out of the graves and coming after the colony. They are the same people that you put in there, except now they come and try to bite you, infect you with the zombie virus, and your infected colonists will eventually turn. And this also applies to enemies, so you'll see situations with this mod. Sorry, this mod's made by a guy called Justin C. So, credit him for that, and I will put the link in the description. But yeah, this is one of the cooler mods that I've seen so far, although we've had a ton of them. So I hope you'll check out the mod list on the forums, because there's a lot of cool stuff there. But yeah, zombies, it had to happen, and I think this is a really good version of it. And I played with it for a while, and it's damn fun, and it feels different from the usual combats. So, and it fits really well with the main game. So great mod right there. Check it out. So that is it. This is RimWorld Alpha 4. Development continues apace. There is one other thing I didn't talk about at all in this video yet, which took half of my dev time, which is the new region system that's in this build. And that's because you're not actually going to see it in obvious ways in the game, but it's a technical improvement, which completely revamped how characters think about the world and how they understand where things are and how they can get between spaces. So I'm going to make a separate video and link it right here, which explains how the region system works. So if that sounds interesting to you, please click on the link and listen to me talk about technical details of RimWorld for a while. So yeah, link right there. That's it for Alpha 4. I hope you guys like it, and I will see you later.